Good morning, class. Welcome everyone to your news this hour with Cooper Jordan Hernick. Today we are going to talk about the new emerging story about today that the MLB will be starting its season and how the MLB will be able to deal with the pandemic during the MLB season, and we'll be going into the pandemic for Texas and why they are going with full capacity stadiums for the entire 162 game season. If you're wondering why I decided to choose this topic, it is because I have been watching everyone else's. It's first because I've been watching baseball my entire life, and I wanted to do about baseball, and also I wanted to do a story that's more lighthearted compared to a bunch of the other people in this class whose were a lot more somber. So I wanted something a lot more lighthearted, even though it's still a pandemic. So where is this happening? Currently, the MLB will be playing baseball in all of these areas where you see logos, 30 in total, except the Blue Jays where there are two, one in Dunedin, one in Toronto, technically, because they'll be playing Dunedin until May or June, and then going up to either Toronto or Buffalo, depending on how things turn out here in Toronto. But there are currently all 30 teams will be playing in the States, where there will be a fair amount of people. And most stadiums are going to be at 25% capacity. As you can see, Texas, with their libertarian views, they are going to have 100% capacity, which, great idea. Toronto, technically Dunedin, they're at a very low amount. Colorado has a lot, because they can't get a lot of fans there. Miami won't get a lot of fans. This is the percentage of each team's stadium's capacity in 2021. So take a quick look. Now the rules. The plan. Each club will submit a written COVID-19 action plan. Pre-spring training screening will include a 5-day home quarantine prior to reporting spring training. Frequent testing for players. Players and other on-field personnel will have to test at least every day. There will be temperature checks at least twice daily. Individuals who test positive are required to isolate for a minimum of 10 days, which is very good. Expansion of voluntary testing for family members and household members of players, good idea. Of players and staff of teams are now made readily available. Another good thing they're doing is their mental health and well-being resources will be provided to players and staff members and also their families by clubs and the parties throughout the season. Expansion of code of conduct, where they have added prohibiting high-risk activities outside the ballpark, like being at events with 10 or more people. Masks must be worn at all times in all club facilities by everyone except players that are playing or warming up. And if players do not comply with these mask mandates, they will be fined immediately and automatically, and their fines will be donated to charity. I don't know what charity. I hope it's a COVID-19 charity to help people pay their medical bills. Also, lineup cards, which are normally exchanged at the home plate, at the beginning of the game, will not be happening again this year. They will be exchanging it online through a software. On-field playing, the doubleheaders will be 7-inning games each. Overtime will be a modified extra inning game, just like 2020, where each half inning will begin with a runner on second base. Not the biggest fan of that. With rosters, there'll be 26-man expanding to 28. I'm okay with that. Taxi squad is the additional players that a team can have in case they have some players get sick with COVID. Now, is this enough? What the? Okay, this is a very good question. Are these rules going to be enough to manage the pandemic, COVID-19? It's probably going to be on the rise due to the easing restrictions in stadiums. But this could be enough to hold off the inevitable pandemic and the third and fourth wave that will most likely happen. But as an optimist, I think it might be enough. But we'll talk about that later. And now, why care? So you should care because this involves entertainment, and entertainment is something we all need. This involves sports and how sports will be able to be handled with a global pandemic. Also, because don't you guys want to be able to play your own individual sports? Because I'm sure none of us have really been able to play our sports. I'm really missing playing baseball, to be honest. So that's why you should all care. Now let's get into types of bias. So now we're going to get into type of biases and the forms that were shown in some different articles about the Texas Rangers opening their stadium to full capacity, as we talked about earlier. So the first is headline bias. Because Fox News is trying to make their viewers engage in the story by saying that Texas Rangers are swinging for full capacity. That is a sort of baseball reference, but also a line to engage their viewers, which is also a marketing ploy. This is a clear tactic to get more viewers, and NBC's article seems very straight up and factual. It seems like they're just getting to the point. Now with the Fox News article. So with Fox News, this is a clear form of sensationalism, where they are showing a clear, where they are saying that the Texas Rangers are the first team to have full capacity crowds, using phrases like "first to the plate," MLB's first team, and "first to accomplish the feat." These are all ways to create sensationalism, that the Rangers are the first, and also that that's a good thing that they're doing this when it's not. They're just putting the lives of their people at risk when Texas is one of the most populated states. And also Texas currently has a border crisis that they have to deal with, so shouldn't they invest in that? Maybe Greg Abbott should do that, but that's not what we're talking about. Now we're going into word choice bias with NBC. In the NBC article, they are showing word choice bias by making it seem very positive and mushy. Mushy meaning like soft, kind of. Like they're softening it. By saying Texas Rangers will welcome fans. And by saying that, it normalizes it, makes it seem positive, and making it sound good. Also saying that Texas Rangers are doing good for our pandemic heroes, known as frontline workers, by offering them free tickets to exhibition games, and also honoring them at their games, which is a good thing, but they're also normalizing it, so not really that good. So it's really unbelievable how politics has affected our sports. If you have looked at the sports media environment 5 years ago, it's completely unrecognizable in comparison. Look now at how much uh, politics we have injected in our sports. I find it kind of weird in a way, but also it's good because we have social justice now. But I thought I'd just add that in because it kind of relates to the questions that we're going to get into right now. So here are the questions. I'm going to put them in the comments below this. First one, do you like the great partisan divide that has entered our sports, as we talked about in the slide before? Do you think that the MLB has done enough to handle the pandemic from the rules I've told you about? There was a couple more, but I just covered the ones that were important. And also, what do you think the MLB should do to prevent a super spreader event situation? And also, just a little fun one. Who will win the World Series? I want to know your answer because I just did a podcast with a bunch of people for an hour and a half straight, and I want to see what you guys think. But right now, I think it will be the Blue Jays versus the Mets or the Dodgers. And now for our wellness break, we're just going to go through a little montage.
High and deep to left. He's done it again. Home run number 26, a no-doubter. Swing and a drive. Deep to left field. Goodbye. Home run. High and deep to left. Get up, ball. Get up. Get up. Defense. High and deep to left. This one is way back. Goodbye. Home run. Chris.
To the plate. And this one shot deep to right field. It is gone.
You can see he's got his back, his front shoulder turned. Very little movement.
Donaldson high and deep to left. The Blue Jays lead it 1-0. A no. Donaldson hits it high and deep to center. Burns is back. This ball's gonna go. Get out of here. Home run, Donaldson.
Part of the Blue Jays lineup to deal with here in the 10th.
High and deep and way back at the wall. Goodbye, home run. Josh Donaldson. 1-1. Fly ball deep to right. Get up, get up. God, game winner. Walk him off, Josh. Deep drive to center. Martin looking up. Grand slam home run.
And a lead at first, and the pitch swung on, hit high in the air to deep left field. Orlando going back, reaching up, gone.
Deep drive to center. Did he do it? At the wall. Goodbye, ball game.
Hear about.
High, deep drive.
And the wellness break here. Thank you for watching our presentation, and now we're going to end this.